Hello, my name's Gavin Raeburn. I'm the studio head of G Studios within Codemasters. Here we have a race driver, TOCA Race Driver, which is effectively the fourth TOCA game, but very different to the early TOCA 1, TOCA 2s. Very similar in many ways to WTC. But what we tried to do this time around with TOCA Race Driver is to not only move the game itself forward, the series itself forward, but also the genre as a whole, the racing genre, because we find looking at the racing genre at the moment, it's quite staid and quite stilted. So one of the reasons for this is probably the focus on the cars. There's too much focus on the cars and not much perhaps on the personal aspect of racing. Real motorsport is all about the characters in the sports themselves, or any sport is like that. So what we're trying to do with Race Driver is to add a character element. Not just a character element, but also a story element based around the racing world. Here we see Ryan McCain. Here's our hero for TOCA Race Driver. You play the part of Ryan McCain and you'll follow him right through his racing career. We start off with Ryan being given an offer to race for a small team. Ryan's father, his dead father, Carl McCain, was the world champion, and his brother is now the world champion, doing very well. So he's following in some pretty heavy footsteps there. What we tried to do with the whole of Race Driver is give it a real 3D reason for everything to be within the game. So instead of just having boring 2D text, where possible, we've tried to have for example, like selecting a car, instead of just having a car spinning around the spot looking nice and shiny with no reason to be there. We've actually got a little set of keys you can pick up, and you look through a brochure for the car you want. So it gives a much more immersive sort of believable world to follow. Again, showing all the tracks in the game, 38 tracks in the game, 42 licensed cars. All the tracks are real as well, plenty to learn. This is supposed to represent a poster on the wall where you can see all the tracks that you can select. We've got 4 licensed championships in the game. DTM, so German touring cars. We've got obviously TOCA Tour, which is in the game as well, and also the V8 supercars, which are mad, very fast cars, V8 cars. Wonderful cars. Got a choice of livery as well. You can select for each car, select the transmission type, all the usual features you expect in a racing game. Here we have the garage setup area. On this screen you'll notice your car that you've just chosen in the image. Again, where possible, every single screen will have options that you've selected within it. So the car, you can have your car in the scene, or you might have in one of the movie sequences, we have the car you're racing in and the track you're racing in. All the movie sequences are played live in the game, and again, that's so we don't break the game world. We don't want to have like a posh Final Fantasy type cutscene and then go to the racing itself. So the car setup, every option you want you can set up on the car, but it's absolutely not essential to set the car up. This is not a management game. This is supposed to be based around the life of a racing driver. So we set all the cars up ourselves, about 95%, or as best we can actually, for you to use. But if you want to tweak them, I'm sure you can get better settings than we can, but you don't have to. You can still beat the game with the settings you've got. We've got real speed blurring, which is follows an actual shutter speed, well, 60 frames a second, just like normal cameras, film cameras that is. Basically what that means is you get a real sensation of speed. If you don't do that, it looks like digital photography. That's what many games look like, digital photography. But it makes things whip by, and that's what it's all about. You want to really feel like you are hurtling around at 150 miles an hour. Most racing games are quite linear in that you go from one track to the next track to the next track, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's just the way it is. Especially if you follow one championship. With TOCA Race Driver, we've got many championships, and you move around quite quickly because you can take offers from different teams around the world at any time. So that means you're never in one location for too long. And you do get a lot of variety very quickly.